Well, good evening, everybody, and welcome to the Denver Bronco Roundup podcast, brought to you by Rocky Mountain Sports Network, and of course, sponsored by the amazing Morgan Trinkets. We'll talk about all that a little bit later, man, but I got to welcome in everybody. Welcome to Posse, man. We already got people jumping in, making comments before we even go live, because you know what? They probably went over on YouTube and they subscribed to our channel. So it's already saw Scott jumping in here. Appreciate you, Scott. Got to say hello to the other horsemen, though. I'm one of them. My name's Keith Brugman, but I'm joined by Mr. Trevor Rocket Man Salzman. I'll say hello to him first. How you doing tonight?
Doing well, Keith. Hopefully everybody's having a good night in Broncos country and just in general. But no, glad to be here. I wasn't able to be here Tuesday. Looking forward to the Raiders game. Some distractions around. We kind of talked about it backstage a little bit when it comes to rookie of the year conversation and the flex schedule, whatnot. But any given Sunday, anything can happen. So I need to take care of business on Sunday against the Raiders, one game at a time.
One game at a time. Stacking days, stacking weeks, stacking wins. That's what we need to be paying attention to, according to Trevor. Anybody that was waiting for us, Trevor was last one in, so you can blame him. Anyway, I'm going to get over to our judge, the Jody Moncrief, the horseman that was right in there with me about the same time, just waiting around, waiting to go live. We're ready to go, Jody. What do you got to say to this evening, bud?
It's Raiders week. Haven't beat the Raiders on the road since 2015. This is a big win. Keep the momentum going. Hopefully we can keep seeing offensive output. It's nice to see. It's nice to see your quarterback throw over the middle.
How about that? It's possible. It's just not the way the defenses play. It's possible as a quarterback to throw over the middle. We're seeing it this week. And yes, that offensive output had to erase the board back behind me because it showed that 38-6 win. It's all gone, man. You got to put that behind us. Got to start concentrating on the Raiders because, once again, the Denver Broncos versus the Las Vegas Raiders. Hey, it feels like a throwback, man. I can't wait, man. This is a long time coming, like you said, Jody. We haven't won in Las Vegas. We have not won in Las Vegas. We've obviously won against the Raiders, but not in Las Vegas. We've beat them up at when they've come into our home, our place. But we got to get one of those on the road. Ernie Mays coming in here saying, "Go Broncos, country only." Bo Nix for 6. Hello, Keith, and more. That's Jody the judge and Trevor the Rocket Man Salzman. Got Adam coming in here and saying, "Good evening, family, and let's go Broncos." Already throwing in his prediction. We always do that at the end of the show, but sometimes can't hang around. I get it. And sometimes we're just excited. Maybe Adam's excited because he's saying 34-17 victory over the Raiders already. Our good friend Graham is also coming in over on YouTube. He knows what it's all about. He's saying smash that like button. Check out what Graham does and all the K&K Sports guys do over on the K&K Sports Network. Got to go check those guys out. K&K Sports Show. Check them out. Paul's giving us that mile-high salute. Like I said, he was in here early. He was asking questions that we may get to, and he's saying make sure you smash it, and I appreciate it. Smash that button, smash that like button, smash that subscribe button. You guys have been doing amazing. Also amazing, Miss Pearl. Miss Pearl coming in here and saying hello all. If you don't know how amazing Miss Pearl is, then you haven't checked out all her comments, everything she gives to the show, because she's a great part of the posse. And then she's the owner of our amazing sponsor, Morgan Trinkets, and you got to check her out and everything she does. By the way, I'll just drop it right now. Morgan Trinkets Co. on Etsy, and we'll talk a little bit more about that later. Morgan Trinkets Co. at Etsy. Roy's coming in here, and though he says, "Hey there, horsemen and the posse. I'm not worried about the flex or offensive rookie of the year. This is Raiders week." Well, oh boy. Got to do it, man. It's the greatest transition ever because this was the conversation right back behind the scene. I know Trevor brought this, but I haven't heard Jody's voice backstage as we were even talking, other than saying hello. So I'm going to go to Jody on this. Jody, we are impressed by Bo Nix. I mean, by all stretches of the imagination, I don't think anybody expected what we're necessarily seeing right now, because we are talking about offensive rookie of the year. We are talking about, also the flex schedule as well. What do you think about all of this coming about? Is it a distraction? Are we going to overlook the Raiders because this is Raiders week? What are you thinking there, buddy? What are you thinking, Jody?
I don't think it's a distraction because you have a veteran head coach who's been there, done that multiple times. So, yeah, I don't think it's a distraction. And Bo Nix has been there, done that. I mean, this is where his 61 call starts come into play. He's, mature for his age. He's a leader. The end goal is not rookie of the year for him. So that's just a cherry on the top, I guess. That's not the end goal. So I definitely don't think it'll be a distraction.
Not a distraction being offensive rookie of the year. I know this is all a big buzz, though. We had Paul talking about it too. I just want you to talk just quickly. The flex schedule coming out. All of a sudden, the Chargers game isn't a Sunday game. It's a Thursday night game. Everyone's talking about it. Paul was coming in here and letting us know that, hey, that was kind of coach approved. What do you is this yet another distraction, or is this just something that this team, this coaching staff, this quarterback, they're all focused in, and there is no distraction there?
Again, I don't think it's really that much of a distraction because of who your head coach is. The only thing is I hope it's not a Sean Payton trying to say, "Hey, look, boys, everyone ranked us at the bottom, and look where we're at right now." I hope it's not one of those type things. But other than that, I don't think it's a distraction. Knock on wood, we're as healthy as really can be, minus Alex Singleton. Really, I mean, you're as healthy as you're going to be. So, yeah, I don't think it's a big deal.
Very good, buddy. Trevor, I know this was a big point that you were bringing up. You think that, there's a lot of things swirling. We need to get focused in. Just give me your thoughts on this, man. Or give the posse your thoughts on this. Give everybody out there listening to your thoughts on this. It's just not me, man.
Yeah, I mean, the flex schedule, I mean, it is what it is. For me, and I don't think the players are too fond of playing on Thursday nights. Again, I'm not speaking for the players. It's a short week. It's going to be harder on their bodies. Not as much time to recover, of course. So that's what I worry about. You worry about injuries kind of coming up when you're tweaking schedules like that. And it's one thing to move it from, like Sunday morning to Sunday afternoon or Sunday evening, but it's like you're totally switching days, and it's just one of those things I'm not a fan of, especially as the season's gone on, just because so many teams are banged up right now, and players that not necessarily just hurt per se, but just banged up because it's a long season, and so that's what you worry about immediately. For me, is injuries, short week, but it is what it is. You have to go out there and play the Chargers either way, so whatever day it is, you got to go out there and take care of business. And then, I mean, the rookie of the year conversation, is that what you're talking about as well?
Yeah. All the accolades were offensive rookie of the month and the week and rookie of the year. We're getting all these different accolades from one Mr. Bo Nix.
Yeah, I mean, I think again, Bo's a team guy first. If you followed him in college and up until now with the Broncos, he's a guy that team first guy, and that's why you love him. He's a leader. He doesn't really care. At least publicly upon, we don't know behind the scenes, maybe, he wants to win those awards, but, at least publicly, we know he's a team guy and he doesn't really care about those rewards right now. So, I would say just wait till the end of the year, with Jaden Daniels. I think, if you can say that award would end today, the season ended today, maybe he gets it. You can have that argument different ways, but, that's end of season award for a reason. You leave it to the end of the season. There's still a lot of football left to play. And so, just don't let those distractions, stop you from this team getting to the playoffs and still pushing week to week. Because again, like I said, backstage to you guys in the NFL, it's a week to week league. You never know what's going to happen on any given Sunday. Have to take a game by game mindset. And I think that's what the Broncos are going to have to do to go in Las Vegas, which they, again, like Jody said, they haven't won in a while. Go take care of business on the road and get a win and continue this win streak and continue to push forward.
Yeah, not much of a win streak, but yeah, I could start a win streak. You know,
Start
this
a
is get an
2 games.
opportunity. Let's get 2 in a row. Let's get 2.
Yeah.
No, this kind of has been a little bit of a start and stop season. I was actually looking back through the schedule, and it's like 3 wins, a couple losses, a couple more wins. It's been one of those type of seasons. And you're right. You need to be focused week to week, and that's one of the things I like about this Denver Broncos team. If you look at them, they have not looked like an unfocused team. They don't look like a team that's not prepared coming into a matchup. They don't, even the Baltimore game. I don't think that was hey, we're looking past the Baltimore. I mean, that was just a heck of a matchup, and a lot of things just didn't go your way, man. And things when things don't go your way, sometimes they really don't go your way. And that was kind of the outcome of that game. But that being said, this team has looked in the game, focused in the game, with the game plan, knowing what they're doing out there, not looking past their opponents. I like you said, we talked about the culture change a couple episodes ago, Trevor. Me and Albert were talking about it again in our last episode as well. This feels like this is a different Denver Broncos team, and the focus is there. And all the accolades, all the other distractions, it seems like we're locked in, and hopefully we're locked in as we head to Las Vegas. We need to get that win in Las Vegas. We need to get it. It's crucial, in my opinion, if we're going to continue on this path. Like you said, maybe put together a little bit of a streak. Speaking of streaks, Michael Ronquillo on a streak, just coming in here, dropping stars every time, every episode, saying good evening, Keith, Trevor, and Jody, and Gobo Broncos, giving us the big orange and blue hearts, giving us the Mile High salute. Michael, appreciate you so very much, man. Appreciate you coming in here, supporting the show the way you always do. Great interactions, great information, great questions. And on top of it, you're in here supporting us by dropping stars. Can't say enough. Can't say enough, my friend. Pearl saying says she loves these Broncos and Raiders games. Paul's wanting us to just go in there and embarrass them. Our good friend Matt Staffiero's coming in. He's saying, "What's up, gents? Let's go Broncos. Let's go Bo." Yeah, it's Bo time. It's Bo time, man. Ernie Mays thinks it's Bo time. He's putting up the prediction here early, saying Broncos 39, Raiders 8. Just trying to get those 8 points. That might be the toughest thing to do, Ernie. Not a lot of options to get to 8. But my good friend Jeremy Dressler coming in saying, "Sup, fellas, go Broncos," and FTR for all those who you know. Our good friend Harmon has said, letting us know that the Chiefs own you guys. And, it would be nice if the Chiefs maybe had a few more losses and they were playing something at the end of the year, because I think the Denver Broncos could go on a run. Harmon, make sure you come back when we're talking Chiefs later in the season. I'd still love to get your opinion. But my guess is you're probably a Chiefs fan. Just my thought. Roy saying it could be a strategy move when we face the Bengals, talking about that mix up on the schedule and taking that Thursday. I will say, you get an early week, but you also then get a longer week, you know what I mean, to prepare, and a longer week, at the end of the season after you come off of that Thursday night. Maybe that's the way the coach is thinking, hey, we'll take that game a little bit earlier. We'll give ourselves a little bit more rest as we're getting towards the end of the season and get a little bit more primed up for these games, and as hopefully getting into the playoffs as well. Gentlemen, I mean, everyone's I love this. Paul's coming in saying the Chiefs are lucky to be alive. Got out of there by the skin of their teeth. I want to talk about, guys, we've got to get into this game and the Las Vegas Raiders and what's going to be happening. I just wanted to start off this way because I think one of you guys mentioned it. Knock on wood, we're lucky. The injury report looks pretty dang good for the Denver Broncos. But I'll be honest, man, if you're the Las Vegas Raiders or you're a Las Vegas Raiders fan, it has been rough. It has been absolutely rough, even coming into this game. Marcus Epps, safety, is out on IR with a torn ACL. Malcolm Kuntz, defensive end, and he was in that game that we saw back on October 6th. He's now out with it on the IR with an ACL. Aiden O'Connell is on the IR. He'll maybe be coming back next week. Luke Masterson is looking to come back, but this is going to be his first week off of IR. Christian Wilkins, I'm sorry. This is a guy that we all talked about maybe coming to the Denver Broncos, being a disruptor in the middle. He's out on IR, maybe be back next week. And then you just look at what's coming into the game. Jacorian Bennett, cornerback, out. Nate Hobbs, cornerback, out. Running back Alexander Madison is doubtful. Running back Samir White, running back, doubtful. And then you got a bunch of questionables as well, from Harrison Bryant, Andre Jones, Jack Jones, Cody Whitehair. I mean, it just keeps going on and on and on. It's going to be, I think it lines up, right? It lines up really good when you start looking at this injury report for the Denver Broncos. Jody, I'll go to you first, man. You start looking at this injury report. Where do you think you'd start taking advantage of this Raiders team if you're on the offensive side of the ball and you're Bo Nix going up against it?
Their corners. I think you can expose, right? That's where I would start. You can throw on this team. But you can run on this team too. They can't stop the run. So, I mean, they're not good on defense all the way around. So this needs to be another, in my opinion, game to work on things and get things right for down the stretch.
Yeah. I think there is Pearl's wondering if they'll really even be able to field a team. Yeah, it sounds like it. I mean, they really are. Any team that's in the Shedeur Sanders talk, is a team that's been reeling, and part of it has just been the injuries, man. The injuries have been absolutely, they've been riddled. I'll give you this. Trevor, Raiders, 4.4 yards rushing per game on defense is what they're giving up. That's 16th in the league. 125 yards, that's 15th. 1.1 touchdowns on the ground, that's 21st. On the other side, completion percentage, they're giving up 68.6%. That's 26th in the league. Sack percentage, I'm sorry, that's the defense. I'm sorry, I'm on the wrong side of the statistics. I just forget everything I just said. I just want to get your thoughts, though. I'll switch over to the offense here in a second. But this defense, this defense of the Raiders, they are riddled. How do you think that we take advantage, bud?
I mean, like Jody said, their defense isn't great. Other than Max Crosby, who else is there to get pressure on Bo Nix? And, Bo Nix does a great job avoiding sacks anyways and gets rid of the football quickly. But Max Crosby leads that team in pressures to a 23. The next best guy down is Charles Snowden and Adam Butler. I mean, Christian Wilkins, they all have 7. I mean, that's not even close, the pressures when it comes to this team getting after the quarterback. So for me, I mean, you can really do whatever you can, you want to really do on this team as far as, run the football, pass the football, balanced offense. You don't really have to go in one particular area in the passing game, go more pass heavy, more run heavy, regardless. This is almost kind of another get right game for the Broncos offense, in my opinion, just what they're doing. This Raiders the defense just is not very good. I mean, like they're 29th, I think, in points given up this year. So it's not a defense, once again, that I would say for another second week in a row, that's not going to really stop you much. I mean, you're going to be able to move the ball on them, so this should be another game for Bo Nix where we talked about stacking those weeks. Bo Nix should be able to do that against this Raiders defense. But I want to also mention Zach Allen is dealing with a heel injury too. So we have to keep in mind on that. And I think you said Aiden O'Connell you say doubtful or questionable. I think he's on IR. So
he's on IR.
Yeah,
he's out. He might be back next week.
Ooh, I mean, I think they're going to go with Gardner Minshew regardless. But you're this is Gardner Minshew, a guy that when he last put the Broncos through an interception in the red zone, and it changed the course of the game. So it's just one of those things where the Raiders are tied for first in the NFL in turnovers on offense with 20. So it's one of those things where this Raiders offense will also turn the ball over, but their defense for me is just not sustainable to the Broncos offense. I know I just jumped to the Raiders offense accidentally, but didn't mean to do that. But I think their defense to me just doesn't scare them much, other than Max Crosby, which again, Sean Payton has pointed that out many times this week. Max Crosby, you have to game plan for him. The protections against him is very, very important. Can't let him take control of this game.
Yeah. We are skipping around a little bit, but to give full, injury report, like you said, Zach Allen and Michael Ronquillo's coming in here mentioning as well as dealing with a heel injury. He is questionable heading into this game. Drew Sanders, Josh Reynolds, they practice all week, but they are both out for this game. Ben Powers, who popped up on the injury report, looks like he's a go. PJ Locke's a go. Brandon Jones a go. Delarrin Turner Yell, he actually had his 21-day window closed, so they will not bring him back. He will not make this roster. He's still at the 53-man roster. He's just going to be sitting out there on the PUP for all intents and purposes. And then Tyler Beatty, still on IR as of right now as well. So kind of just wraps up the Denver Broncos side of things. Guys, I'm not going to let you get out of here without some specifics, though. I want you guys to start giving me some idea, and Trevor, I'll start with you. Well, no, I'll go with Jody. Jody, I'm going to start with you. Jody, give me some specifics of how you think this will actually develop as far as the offense goes. Give me some specifics. Who's going to run the ball? What kind of yardage are we going to get? Who's going to catch the ball? What kind of yardage are they going to get? Kind of give me an idea of how you think this is going to game plan out for the Denver Broncos. I know that there's a lot of opportunities and we need to keep on track and we need to keep on chugging the way we did last week, putting up 38 points. But how do you think that we go out there and we start attacking this Las Vegas Raiders, and with who? And give me your thoughts, bud.
I see a lot of the same things as last week. Not really sure who's going to run the ball. Sean Payton knows that that's a problem because he can't commit to one running back. 1 week it's Estime, 1 week it's Williams, 1 week it's McLaughlin. At some point he's going to have to, I think, down the stretch, pick a guy and ride that guy out. But other than that, I expect Bo to be throwing it all over the yard like he was last week. I want to see more of Vele. I think he's an emerging wide receiver on this team. He's probably your wide receiver number 2. I'd like to see them get Sutton more involved in the red zone. And other than that, I don't really have any complaints about last week's game plan. So, I expect a lot of that this week.
Very good, man. Maybe some more Marvin Mims in the backfield. Who knows, man? If it's going off of last week's game plan, we might see it. Trevor, how would you're Sean Payton, how do you think he's going to go out there and he's going to start attacking this defense? Like you said, it's not very scary up front. You know what I mean? You got to account for basically one guy. You know, there's a lot of damage that they've taken in the secondary, so you have opportunities there. But, you know, if you had to put your money on a couple of guys that we need to go out there, keep our eye on, and think that are going to go out there and perform this Sunday, who would you say on offense I'd be?
I mean, one player in particular. I mean, it starts with a quarterback.
No,
position.
a few. Give me some ideas. Yeah, of guys that are in there, not one guy. Like, give me a smattering of guys. How's that?
Bo Nix is certainly going to be a part of that because your quarterback position is the most important position on offense. But I mean, we don't know what running backs we're going to see this week. I mean, let's just be honest. I mean, it comes to the point where I don't think Sean Payton's going to ride it with one guy. This is where I disagree with Jody a little bit, and he's kind of said it a little bit, but also Joe Lombardi, the OC, has said it a little bit as well. They like all three of those guys. Estime, Javonte Williams, McLaughlin. McLaughlin will get used every game. It just depends on different plays that they have designed for him. But we don't know. I don't want to keep playing that guessing game of who is going to start in the backfield this week because we honestly just don't know. But I think it's going to be, again, balanced attack. I don't think Bo Nix needs to throw the ball 40 times. I really don't think he needs to do that, especially on the road. I don't love that from your quarterback. But I think you can, again, this is a get-right game for this Broncos team. Other than Max Crosby, who else is there to stop you, from passing the ball around or running the ball at will? I mean, this offensive line for Denver I mean, it's up there as far as, run block rate, pass block rate. It's one of those things where they can win their matchups up front. There's no reason this offense can't move the ball. If this offense can't move the ball against the Raiders, I'm a little bit concerned. 29th, scoring as far as points, that they're giving up per game, 28.5 per game. 29th, that's 29th best in the league. I mean, you should be able to run up the score a little bit on them. This is a Broncos offense that's progressing, of course, and a rookie quarterback that's progressing. So we have to kind of keep it. They're not going to score 40 probably on the Raiders, but they're going to be able to score at will as much as they want to. Hopefully Sean Payton sticks to the game plan and doesn't get too cute with it, but we can still continue to move the ball. Maybe the offense, once again, for a second week in a row, maybe the offense wins the game, helps, a little bit more win the game than the defense has to do. Again, the defense has to do their job too, but I'm saying the offense takes another leap forward and really starts putting the gas on an opposing defense. So, I mean, I don't think there's any particular one game plan that you have to have. I just think that you're going to be able to move the football at will however you want, and just don't get too cute with it. And, I mean, keep your defense off the field as much as possible.
I think there's a lot to be said with don't get too cute with it. And I don't want to overlook the Raiders in any sense. Just to kind of give you an idea, the Raiders offense put up 19 points on the Dolphins. Nothing that big. They put up in a loss. 24 points versus the Bengals in a loss. They put up 20 points versus the Chiefs in a loss. Those are the last 3 games that they had. So you're looking at like an average of having to put up like 22 points plus in order to beat the Raiders. And that includes going up against the Chiefs. So we're not just skewing this to a point that, hey, they haven't had to play up against anybody. I know that the Bengals aren't the biggest defensive juggernaut out there, and the Dolphins don't necessarily scare you, but these are NFL teams nonetheless. And these are teams that went out there, and 20 plus points is what is kind of expected out of this Raiders offense if you look at the last 3 games. You said don't get cute about it. You're right, because, I said, versus the Panthers, I thought this was going to be a get-right game for guys that didn't necessarily get touches, like a Troy Franklin going out there and getting more touches because we hadn't seen that necessarily, or a Marvin Mims getting more touches because we, at the Panthers point, we definitely hadn't seen Marvin Mims get involved in this game. This is a game where I don't think you can get necessarily too cute. If you're going to have to go out there and put up 20 plus points on the Raiders, and don't get me wrong, I think this Denver defense is better than what some of the teams we certainly just listed, and we'll talk about the defense here in the second half, man. But if we're going to go out there, we're going to have to put up points. It's not going to be one of those games that I think we walk away, putting up 18 points and getting the win necessarily. So, go out there, keep the pedal down. Don't get too cute about things. Make sure that you do go out there and get leads and get in front. I said I wouldn't let you guys off the hook, though. If I'm going to go ahead and I'm not going to let you guys off the hook, I won't let myself off the hook. So this is what I'll say. I would love to see Javonte continue to get the ball. I think we saw a great game last week. And if I'm Sean Payton, I think you have the opportunity to go ahead and try to build off of that. Now, if it doesn't work, it doesn't work, but this is a great opportunity to continue to build with Javonte, make him feel like he's being productive, because again, we think this Raiders defensive line will give him opportunities to have running, so continue to do that. I think that you continue to, Devon Bailey, Jody, I think it was you that talked about it. Devon Bailey needs to continue to be in the game plan and get touches. I think that Cortland, yes, it'd be great to get him involved in the red zone and the whole 9 yards, and he's a number 1. But I think Cortland knows that. If you saw any of the pressers that he gave up, he talks about this group and these group of guys around him and how he knows that they need the work and they get the production, and that's how they get sharper. He knows he can get his when he needs to get his, but I want to continue to see Vele step up. I think that'll be big if we want to see strides in the second in this push as we head towards the postseason. Getting a true number 2 guy like Devon Vele, and I don't think by trying to get it to Devon Vele in this game, you're necessarily doing anything that's going to hurt you. This is a guy that's been showing up and kind of proven himself whenever he's been put on the spot. So I'd love to see Devon Vele get some more love in this game. Bo Nix, just continue to make the strides. That's what I need to see from Bo Nix. He's been doing fantastic. I think you still have an opportunity, even going up against a Max Crosby, to have clean pockets, look down the field, deliver the ball like you need to do. So those are the three that I'll throw out there. Karen's coming in and saying, good evening, all. Go Broncos. Beat the everything out of the Raiders. Yeah. I absolutely. I think we have that opportunity, Karen. I think we can go out there and we can have maybe not the exact same success that we saw last week. But this is a team that's similar in a lot of ways just because of how beat up they are. It'll be interesting to see. It'll be interesting to see exactly how we come out and attack. And if we keep the pedal down, it could be a very similar game, I think. A very, very similar game. I like this from Roy. Bottom line, get in, take off, business, get out, and get ready for the next. Yeah. Just go in there, focus to get your job done. All right. Karen, 9 days off in a row. What's up for me? As for an hour ago, yeah, for paid time. Yay for paid time off. Well, congratulations, Karen. I wish I kind of had that, and I'll give you the love. You gave the love there. I'll give you love here. Thank you so much. Hit that like button. Appreciate that so much. So, don't get overconfident, says Pearl. Yeah, don't get overconfident. Yeah, I think that's going to be a theme. Gentlemen, mid-break right now. Great time to be talking about our amazing sponsor, and that's Morgan Trinkets. Morgan Trinkets has been doing this now for 34 years. What's this? That's Southwest Jewelry, Southwest Pottery, and Estate Gold at wholesale prices. I'm telling you what, once nationwide, now they just focus in your backyard, northern Colorado, southern Wyoming. They do shows all summer long. It's getting a little cold, a little nasty out there now. So now you just want to head on over to Etsy and type in Morgan Trinkets Co. Morgan Trinkets Co. That's C-O. Morgan Trinkets Co. And check out everything that Pearl has to offer. Fantastic stuff. I'm going to show you guys a short video. Anybody that's watching, anyone that's listening, just sit back and listen to this beautiful music. We'll show you a little bit about what Morgan Trinkets has to offer. So check out Morgan Trinkets. They've been fantastic to us. They've been fantastic to you guys because a lot of the posse have already purchased from Morgan Trinkets. Holidays are right around the corner. Check out Morgan Trinkets today, guys. We need to get over to the Denver Broncos defense, man. This is a defense that has been doing quite well. And when you talk about a 38-6 win and you're holding your opponents to 6 points, it doesn't get much better than that in the NFL. I can't remember. That just reminds me. I can't remember the last time I seen a shutout. But that's about as close as it gets. Now we go head off to Las Vegas, take on this Raiders offense. If the defense has been struggling, the offense has probably been struggling even more. Jody, let's just tip it off. What are your thoughts as we head in? I'll start off with this because that's one thing that we need to talk about when we talk about the offense. And Michael Ronquillo is saying tight end Brock Bowers needs to be contained by the Denver Broncos defense, period. That's a one huge, big piece of it. What are your thoughts as we tee off against this Las Vegas Raiders offense?
Contain Brock Bowers and you can stop this offense. Excuse me. Both of their their two leading running backs are out. They couldn't run the ball with them. So look for them to, they tried to get Brock the ball. They've attempted 16 passes to him last week. So they're going to try to feed him the ball as much as possible. Shut that down and shut down this offense.
Brock Bowers is the key, according to Jody, and Michael's kind of lockstep. It's hey, we need to contain Brock Bowers. There was even some talk about little PS2 Brock Bowers matchup this week. Trevor, is that the key, man? They're putting up, like I said, 19, 20, 24 points, these last few games, man. They're able to somehow matriculate the ball down the field, put up points on teams. Brock Bowers has been coming on hot. Is that the key, man?
That is one of the keys. I will say Jacoby Myers is also another key guy to watch out for. When Brock Bowers doesn't get the ball, Minshew's looking Jacoby Myers' way as well. So they have a few different weapons on that team. Again, nothing to be overly concerned about right now. You should always be, on alert per se when it comes to this Raiders offense and any offense in the NFL. But yeah, I mean, like Jody said, their running game's not, very well right now, and they're certainly not helping out Gardner Minshew in their quarterback room either. So, and Brock Bowers is going to be a guy they're going to continue to get involved. He leads their team in targets with 89 this year. Jacoby Myers is second with 60 targets this year. So it's one of those things where you're going to have to make sure those two guys are locked up and get pressure on Minshew. I think it's one of those things where, again, I'm going to say it again here, and then I said it last week when Denver played Atlanta, non-mobile quarterback in Gardner Minshew. You should be able to get pressure on him now. Zach Allen, hopefully that's a big injury for this Broncos defensive line. Now, I mean, it's a different conversation if he's not able to play because now there's pressure for other guys to step up. But I think that this defensive front for the Broncos, there should be no reason why you can't continue to get pressure on Gardner Minshew. Non-mobile quarterback is going to, more likely stay in the pocket. Should be able to get pressure on him. I think that's important as well when it comes to shutting down Brock Bowers. You have to get to the quarterback if you're the Denver Broncos. That's something they've done very, very well this year.
That's true. That's absolutely true. It made I said it on our last broadcast when I was talking with Albert. It scared the living bejesus out of me when I heard that Zach Allen was injured in the last game, and then he went right back in. He ended up playing the rest of the game, but now that he's coming in, he's dealing with an injury, he's questionable heading into this game. It will be interesting to see how much we can get after, especially if he's limited or he's not able to go in this game, to see who's able to step up, and how much pressure we can still apply without him. Because let's face it, Zach Allen is the straw that stirs the drink in a lot of ways for this Denver Broncos defense. I don't know if we would be talking about Nick Benito playing the way he is and the numbers he's putting up if he didn't have Zach Allen on this team helping him out in the way that he does, and just the pressure that he puts and the coverage that he demands, as far as double teams up front. So we'll see if whether it be a Wazarike or Franklin Myers or any of the multitude of names that come in there and can maybe play in that spot. But, that will be the interesting piece to see play out. You're absolutely right. Gardner Minshew, not that big of a threat as far as running the ball. Hopefully should be able to contain him, get pressure on him. And guys, one of the things I'm looking for, especially if we're talking about even this defensive front, Nick Benito's put up some fantastic stats as far as sacks are concerned, but he hasn't necessarily forced fumbles. We haven't necessarily got any, and all the pressures that we have, you would think that we would have more fumbles, more recovered fumbles, more forced fumbles. I think that's an opportunity that we need to start to see play out. And I think this is a game that we could maybe see that, like you said, Trevor, Minshew kind of stays in the pocket, not that mobile guy. That would be, I think that it's time for us to start to see that happen. Gentlemen, just pause for a second, because right now, all four horsemen are on the screen. Albert's checking in. He says, quick hello from the Mile High Duchy while he's at work. So, hey, you got the four horsemen all on the screen. It's as close as we're going to get this evening. Albert, hope you're doing well. Sorry you're working, and know you're working hard, and wish you were here, buddy. Take it easy. We'll see you as soon as possible. So, Albert's coming in before he gets out of here. he's getting his Raiders loss prediction. I guess we put that in there. He's saying that the Broncos are going to win 34-12. That's his thoughts. Has to run. We'll get into our predictions come the end of the show. We probably got a little bit more time before we get into that as well. Got to get to Clayton saying, hey guys, smash that like and share button. Appreciate it so much. Clayton's usually the one that's been reminding me for a long time. Now I got Karen in here too. She's kind of competing with you now, Clayton. Karen, appreciate you as well. But Clayton, I appreciate you, man. Long time follower, long time just supporter, and always coming in here and making sure that I'm doing all the right things. Michael Ronquillo's coming in here. He's saying, whoop, 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 big game alert for John Franklin Myers. That's his prediction up front, man, especially if we see Zach Allen a little bit more limited. I could definitely see someone having to step up on this game. Predictions are already coming in. We might end up getting into that before we know it, gentlemen. All right, we talked about, again, defense going up against it. We talked a little bit about the defensive front. Going back a little bit further, the secondary and being tested by some of the output. Jody, what are your thoughts? Do you think that we can be tested that much by Bowers, Jacoby Myers? Do you think that they could get any form of running game? How do you think the Raiders go about attacking this Denver Broncos defense, knowing that they don't have that great of a running game, knowing that they don't have these running backs? You've got to be able to complement your offense, even though they're passing at one of the highest rates. They're number 2 in the league as far as how much they're passing the ball. How much running game, or how do you get the running game going for the Raiders? What should we be looking out for?
I'm not sure that they do get it going, but Denver can't overlook that. If they overlook it, and that's where the running game will get going. You have to still take, this is still an NFL team, and this team beat the Ravens, so something we were unable to do. So, but if you go out there and handle business, this team shouldn't be able to run all over you. Like I said, this all starts and stops really with Brock Bowers. You got to shut him down. We've seen what he did week 1 when he had that big touchdown. Really could have had 2 of them. I mean, if they would have had competent quarterback play, they probably hit another touchdown on that PS2 interception.
Yeah.
And I don't know where we're at that game. So, so that's where, for me, that's really starts. You got to shut down Brock Bowers and make someone else beat you if they're going to beat you. Very
good. Jody just goes back to the well. Not afraid about this running game, man, but it doesn't need to be overlooked either. Any more thoughts on that, Trevor? Do you think there's any possibility this running game gets going, or what do they do in lieu of a running game? Because it just can't be passing down the field all the time.
No, but this is the Broncos defense last week that shut down Bijan Robinson for the most part. So it's one of those things where there's no Bijan Robinson on the Raiders. No offense to the Raiders at all. There's no Bijan Robinson in that backfield. Amir Abdullah would be their starting running back. I mean, I don't think the Broncos, again, don't take it lightly, because it's still an NFL team, an NFL game, and any team can win on any given Sunday, like I just said earlier. But they still should be able to stop this run game and make Gardner Minshew throw the football around. Again, you just said the Broncos don't have a lot of turnovers this year. Well, the Raiders are right there at the top of the league as far as turnovers, with 20, like I said, with the Cowboys, 9 fumbles this year from the Raiders. So I think turnovers is going to be part of this game from the Broncos defense. They just haven't seen the offenses, being able to turn the football over a lot. And, they just haven't faced those kind of offenses quite yet, and just haven't been able to get those turnovers. But I think this can be one of those games where the Broncos defensively can create those turnovers for their offense and give Bo Nix more opportunities. So, I mean, not concerned about the running game, but you can't take it lightly and make Gardner Minshew throw the ball. You've seen how the last time the Raiders were in town in Denver, you've seen when Gardner Minshew was forced to throw the football, what he did. 3 interceptions, turned the football over, and he got replaced in the game by Aiden O'Connell. Now, Aiden O'Connell's not going to be active, but, we've just seen Gardner Minshew turn the football over. So if you can make Gardner Minshew become pass-heavy, not offense become pass-heavy, you like your chances going up against, these Raiders. And I know Brock Bowers and Jacoby Myers are definitely guys to keep an eye on, but you should still be able to shut these guys down. Also, Denver's getting back Brandon Jones this week too, so that should definitely help.
Yeah, Brandon Jones, PJ Locke, both coming back, and that's deep secondary, the safeties positions. But the way I see it, if I was going to go out there, I'm the Raiders. A lot of screen games, a lot of kind of pick plays, at the line of scrimmage in order to try to get a wide receiver or a running back open quickly underneath. These are the things that I think that the Denver Broncos really need to be aware of. Yes, Brock Bowers is going to be an issue. And heck, I was a Jacoby Myers fan when he was a free agent out there looking for a home. And I'm like, this guy ain't half bad. We should take a look. Well, you end up with the Raiders, and he's, for a receiver, leading as far as targets and receptions is concerned. So, those two guys need to be accounted for. But if you need to get, a running back underneath, behind some blockers, I just got to say, that's what I'm worried about. That's what I'm looking for. I shouldn't say worried about. That's what I'm looking for. That's what the Denver Broncos defense needs to watch out for, because it gets the ball out of the hand of one Gardner Minshew very quickly. It gets it in the hand of the running back. You get blockers out in front. You can get something going. It's a way to kind of bring the defense in and lure them in. So all of a sudden, Brock Bowers and Jacoby Myers start becoming an issue. It's the only way that they can possibly be balanced, because running the ball has not been their forte, and they're number 2 in the league in passing the ball. They're dropping back to pass over almost 69% of the time, 68 point something percent of the time. They're dropping back to pass, an incredible amount. So that being said, I think we need to watch for how they try to get a running game involved versus this Denver Broncos defense. Can't just go out there and just ignore things. So I like this. Thank goodness that Josh Jacobs doesn't play for the Raiders and plays for the Green Bay Packers in the NFC, because he was just a Bronco killer, says Michael Ronquillo. Yeah, different Raiders team. This is one thing I do want to say. All reports from the Raiders is that this team is nothing like a Josh McDaniels Raiders team. This team is still 100% fighting. They 100% want to win. They're dedicated to when they go out there and they're playing the game of football. They have not given up. They are still trying to win. Now, they haven't been very successful. Last time they won, it was the month of September. So it kind of gives you an idea. It's been a long streak for the Raiders. We can't let them change that, though. They're a desperate team. They're still fighting. They love their coach, and their coach has been decimated by injuries. So you can't sit there and say, this guy's, out there, doing a terrible job. I mean, he doesn't have much to work with at this point. So this team is fighting. I don't want to let them in this game. They're scoring 20 plus points a game versus Chiefs and the like. Don't let them get in this game. I think it's crucial that we go out there and, much like this last game, get points on the board, get it early, get the lead, and start dictating. That's how you end up beating this team, and making sure that there's none of those clinched up moments on your sofa this Sunday, man. That's my thoughts as we start to round up and kind of put this all into perspective. Final thoughts on the game before we start getting into some predictions. And I want everyone's predictions out there, please. Predictions. Jody, I want to get your thoughts. Final roundup, thoughts on this game, anything that we missed out, anything that you want to key in
on. Shut Brock Bowers down, take care of business. I want to see Bo Nix continue to build off of last week's game and, keep stacking impressive numbers like he's been doing. Keep showing people why you are the franchise quarterback for the Denver Broncos, and continue your path on to the playoffs. Whether we get to the Super Bowl or not doesn't really matter to me this year. Get there and get him a taste of what it's like to be there, and just keep building for the future. This game is important because we can't overlook it. If you want to be in the playoffs, you need to win this game.
I agree, man. This is a key game. This is not one of those ones that you want to drop. You don't want to be back to 500. This is a circle the wagons type of game. Make sure that you got everything dialed in. Trevor, some final thoughts from you, man, before we start getting into all these predictions and thoughts when we get our ready for the Raiders come Sunday, man.
Yeah, I mean, that just like would be repeating myself if I said, what I said about Brock Bowers and Jacoby Myers. But I mean, don't take them lightly. They're 2-8. Take care of business on the road because your schedule coming up is, that there's some winnable games out there for sure. But don't overlook the Cleveland Browns. They beat the Steelers last night. That's definitely a playoff team there. The Colts, they're fighting for a playoff opportunity. You have the Chargers coming up, the Bengals, the Chiefs. So this might be one of those games where it's, I want to say easy victory, but one of those more favorable matchups for the Broncos in this one. So you need to capitalize on that and take care of business on the road. And you haven't won, in Las Vegas in a while. Well, I guess the Raiders on the road in, Raiderland in a long time. So you have to take care of business and, look forward, but don't look too forward. Any Sunday, anything could change. So don't overlook this team and go in there, ready to fight and continue on, and make strides in the right direction on both sides of the ball, honestly.
Yeah, absolutely. A few times this has been brought up. I'll just bring it up real quick since we have a few seconds. Trevor, you talk about it. You watched that Browns game. Browns beat the Steelers last night, man, in Cleveland. A snow game. It was a snow game, man. It was awesome to watch. Did you see it, sir?
Yes, I did. It was a Browns team that just has a lot of fight in them too. They're 3-8 right now, but it's a team that Jameis Winston's playing pretty well for them. It's weird how a change at quarterback for them really kind of switched things up for that team with Deshaun Watson going down. And yeah, Winston came out. He's finding the ball around, snow game, so you're always a little more timid throwing the football around. But I thought they might be try to get Nick Chubb going a little bit, but both teams were slinging the ball around and. It was an impressive win last night with Cleveland, and it just goes to show that you never know. And I know the record says what they are right now, but they could go on a win streak too, and that could possibly be a team that tries to sneak into the playoffs. So it's one of those things where if you're the Broncos, anybody that follows Broncos and whatnot, that's definitely a team that no easy. That's not going to be no easy win too. And keep in mind, how good that team is, both on offense and defense side of the ball.
Yeah. Contenders maybe down the line, and certainly a team playing with a lot of fight right now with the Cleveland Browns. Jody, did you end up catching that game? We'll get your final thoughts before we get our score predictions, and I'll get those all in as well.
Yeah, I caught a little bit of it. Nasty weather conditions, pretty much a whiteout for most of it. Glad to see Russ take the L.
And Justin Fields, because they mixed Justin Fields in there deep ball. I mean, even Justin Fields was throwing the football around a little bit, which is wild. But that's a
when
wild.
You have two quarterbacks, you have no quarterback.
Oh.
There
you have it. The recipe didn't work out last week. They certainly have been looking good, but it was Cleveland that got the better of them. So just going back through here, I know that I just saw a few of these. We had Ernie Mays that came in early. He was saying a 39-8 prediction for the Denver Broncos to win that game. Adam and Kayla that came in, or Adam saying 34-17 for the Denver Broncos. That was a pretty early one as well. Just want to make sure that I want to get all these, and then I want to get your guys. This will be interesting. Paul's like in a 77-0 type of game. Wow. That's a whooping. So I think that might have been said a little bit in jest, but he's looking for a mop up type of game, I think, in this one. So of course we had Albert with this 34-12 prediction. And I'm going as quick as I can and making sure I try not to miss as many. Karen's going 28-10, which is funny because these came in almost simultaneously when I saw them live, because Pearl came in with a 28-10 as well. And let's see, scroll. Roy's with the 27-17. Michael Ronquillo coming in 35-17. Anything else? Biggie Broncos jumping in here and saying hello and saying he might be a little bit late. I'll get that up on the screen. But that being said, I'll start with you, Trevor. Trevor, you've been talking about as positive about this game as I think I've ever heard you talk about the Denver Broncos versus the Las Vegas Raiders now this week. Interested to see what your prediction is going to be. What are you thinking, sir?
Yeah, I mean, I'm in that 24, 28, 10 range like everybody else is. It's just one of those things where, I mean, it's not just me hyping everything up, and I just don't think the Raiders are a good team, and I think that they might be fighting for their head coach to keep his job, and it's just one of those things where it's not just injuries with that team. That team just doesn't have a quarterback. I mean, when you don't have a quarterback, you don't have a shot in the NFL. Truth be told, so it's one of those things where you just it's a team that still lacks the talent that they need to win games, and this Broncos team is a different Bronco team than when Vegas came to Denver earlier in the season. This is the Broncos team that's different. This offense is different. They're moving the football. Bo Nix is stepping up. Being much better pocket passing quarterback. His footwork's better. So I just think that two different teams that you're kind of looking at right now. Broncos earlier in the year. Broncos now. I think the Broncos can take advantage of what the Raiders are doing right now, and the Raiders will have some fight in there, but talent outweighs the fight most of the time. So it's one of those things where it's just Broncos have a better team on both sides of the ball. Love seeing the offense get going. That's one of my biggest concerns with this team this year was the offense. That their offense is moving the football. They should be able to move the football again this week. This matchup kind of reminds me of what the matchup was last week against Atlanta. You just put Max Crosby there. Obviously Max Crosby's a hell of a player, a very elite player, but I think Denver will be prepared and will do what they have to do protection-wise to keep Bo Nix upright in this game.
So your final score prediction was
24-10.
24-10. All right. I had a couple of scores down there. 24-10 says Trevor Rocket Man Salzman. And Biggie Bronco, it's good to see you, buddy. Good to see you as well. Judge, got to get that prediction in, man. You've been talking very high about this Denver Broncos team. I think you're loving what you're seeing coming into this matchup. I'm equally interested in to see what your prediction is. Is it 77-0?
It is not, but
75.
I expect Bo to continue what he did all last game. If you stay focused, you should shut this Raiders team down, contain Brock Bowers, and I have a 35-13 win for the Broncos.
35-13?
Yes, sir.
35-13. Jody with the bold prediction. The Judge coming in. 35 points, man. 5 touchdowns, holding them to just a touchdown, a few field goals himself. So, man, I'll be honest, man. I know that you guys have been ranting and raving and talking about, how good you think this Denver Broncos offense can look, how good this defense can look. I've been, kind of teetering the line, trying to make sure, that we stay a little balanced because, like I said, I think there's something to be said of going up against an AFC West rival, a team that's kind of down and still playing for their coach a ton. A team that we haven't won in that stadium ever, and a team that might have racked up consecutive losses, but has done so putting up some points from time to time. That being said, I still think we walk out with a win here. I'd be disappointed if we didn't walk out with a win. I mean, this is a team that we can't look past, and we should be able to walk away kind of confidently in the way we feel with this game. I'm going to go ahead 27-16 Denver Broncos win versus the Raiders. Like I said, Raiders are putting up points even versus the Chiefs. If we can hold them to I had 13 written down, then I went to 16, then I went to 13, then I went to 16. I'll stick at 16. But I think there's opportunity for Bo Nix to go out there and lead this team. 3 touchdowns, a couple more field goals tacked on. The Denver Broncos walk out with a win and feeling good as they head into the stretch and see where we land after this weekend versus playoff contention, because it's getting down to the nail-biting type of time. See where we're at and see if we're going to be in and what position we have. So Win, win, win. And Ernie Mays is so very happy that we've all predicted a win. And he's saying very nice. Well, it's very nice to see you, Ernie Mays, and I'm glad that we could make you happy. We got to get out of here, gentlemen. We got to get out of here. Final thoughts. I'll go backwards around the clock. Jody, we got to get out of here. Anything else before we get out, bud?
Not really. Just contain Brock Bowers, take care of business, and continue to build off of last week and start another winning streak, 2 in a row.
2 in a row. Start that winning streak. Brock Bowers is the key for him. He sees that happen. The judge is going to say it's a ruling in favor of the Denver Broncos, man. Trevor, Rocket Man Salzman, any last words before we get out of here and start wrapping up this Raiders week as we head into Sunday?
Yeah, for me, this game you have to win. If you have any chance and how to have any playoff aspirations, you have to win this game. I mean, you can't afford to lose it, especially because you don't know what your schedule. I mean, you know what your schedule's looking like going forward, but you don't know what the outcomes are going to be. Those are tough teams fighting for playoff, chances as well, and trying to sneak into the playoffs. So this is one of those games you have to have on the road. It's going to count either way, win or loss, but you have to be. You have to get as many wins as you possibly can and beat the teams you're supposed to beat. You're supposed to beat the Raiders. That's why I'm so adamant about this game. It's just because the Broncos are supposed to beat the Raiders. This is where they're at in their building process. And I just have confidence that this team can do it. How they do it might be a messy game. It might be a great game. We'll see. But either way, you need to walk out with a victory in Las Vegas on Sunday. But again, appreciate everybody in the podcast. Tonight, everybody hopping in and showing the love and support. It's great to be back. I appreciate you all. I hope everybody enjoys, hopefully, a Broncos victory on Sunday. But I appreciate everybody, and hopefully everybody has a great, safe weekend. As always, go Broncos.
All right. I'm going to try to do my best. I don't write it down like one Albert Knoppers does, the Mile High Dutchie, but I'm going to run through these names because I do want to give some thanks. Y'all been fantastic. Y'all been great. Right off the bat, Michael Ronquillo dropping stars, giving us some love. Appreciate that so very much. I know that it's holiday time. It's not easy to necessarily be out there spending money frivolously. So if you have the opportunity, you think it's worth it, and you drop stars, appreciate it so very much. But we appreciate every single one of you out there liking, giving that thumbs up, sharing, subscribing. Believe me, it does a ton. It does a ton in of itself. So please, as you're getting out of here, making sure you're hitting that thumbs up button as you're getting out, making sure you're hitting that share. That means a ton to us. Also making try that again. Absolute meaning and absolute ton to us. I just want to say, Paul coming in here, Ernie Mays, Adam and Kayla coming in here, our good sponsor Pearl Roy's coming in here. Like I said, Michael Ronquillo, our friend Matt Staffiero, Ernie Mays, Jeremy Dressler, Graham was in here. Thank you so much, Graham. Harmon78, who's going to come back and talk Chiefs later in the season. Appreciate you so much jumping in here. Scroll. Make sure I'm not missing anybody else. Of course, we had Big E Bronco that came in a little bit later. That's just reminding me as we coming in. Karen, thank you so much for coming in here, supporting the show the way that you do. Roy, I think I said your name, but now you get it twice if I didn't. I think that's everybody. Of course, we had Albert Mile High Dutchie coming in here. Clayton in here as well, always supporting the show. Thank you so much, Clayton. And I think that's about it. I'm going to give that final scroll, make sure I don't see any other names right off the top of my head. But thank you all so much for supporting this show. Remember, we're part of the Rocky Mountain Sports Network. Check out everything we have going on over there. By the way, Nuggets podcast coming on here very shortly. Expect that next Wednesday for a little bit for any of you Nuggets fans. We're brought to you by Rocky Mountain Sports and Network. Check out Morgan Trinkets, our amazing sponsor for all your Southwest jewelry, Southwest pottery, and estate gold at wholesale prices. If you're not new to the podcast, remember, we go live every Tuesday, every Friday, 7:30 p.m. Mountain Standard Time. And then, of course, we do that post-game show, that gut reaction. We want to be talking about a Broncos win versus the Raiders. Hopefully that's what we're talking about. But either way, we go live right after the show, right after the game. Make sure you check out that one as well. Get out of here the way we always do. As always, make sure you keep those boots in your stirrups, keep those guns in your holsters, and always, always keep the Denver Broncos in your heart. Until we see you on Sunday, have a great weekend, everybody. We're out of here. Good night.